evening. At this time, I would call to order the July 22nd meeting of the Planning Commission. Can I have a roll call, please? Yes, it's okay.
Member Leclerc,
Here.
Member Roach, Member Hartman,
Here.
Member Abbott.
Here.
Secretary Lynn.
Here.
Chairperson Wickenheiser.
Here. Thank you. We stand for a moment of silence. Pledge to the flag. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
At this point, I would entertain a motion with regard to the minutes of the June 17th Planning Commission meeting as presented in your packets.
Mary, I would just like to say that on the number 4, we know that it says commission will revisit the matter at the next meeting on July 15th. That was changed to today.
July 22nd.
Correct.
Any other corrections or comments? I have a motion regarding the minutes.
Second.
Okay, I have a motion by Brad, second from Justin. Any other comments? Hearing none, all in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Okay, we've got 3 zoning hearings scheduled for July 30th. At this point, I will not be available to represent Annie at that meeting. Any one of you would be able to. I already discussed this with Paula when we did the agendas, and I said the only other option would be if she were to be able to submit draft minutes from this meeting for their review. So if there is no one able to attend to represent planning, that is how we would have to handle it. Okay. All right, first on for zoning hearing is 15 North 4th Street. And this is the one that was before us last month. That was, the zoning hearing was canceled. Is that why we continued it and we really didn't discuss at our last meeting?
Correct.
Yes. So since it had been canceled prior to our meeting, we carried this over. They're requesting a special exception for zoning relief from Planning Commission Ordinance 220, use as a place of worship, as well as variance for zoning relief from section 22030, minimum lot area of 20,000 square feet. And it lists the tax parcel, and this is in the downtown commercial zone district. Is there anyone here with regard to this? Okay. So this is the last business in this property. This is across from the post office at the corner of, basically at the corner of 4th and Walnut. And the last use for this was, it was a vape property. So this is a church that is requesting to be able to use, and they're only using the first floor. Is that what I'm getting from this call?
That's my understanding.
They're only using the first floor. The second and third floor are basically,
Rooming house.
rooming house. Yeah. So at this point, with nobody being here to answer any questions we may have regarding this.
Is this
It's a big, you
it's-
can live right there. It's
yeah.
the old Verdome's hotel. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's attached on the south side to the commercial part, I guess.
right? Yeah, I see. Okay.
Yeah, I don't
Do
know.
we
I
have
mean,
any information on how many people are be attending the church, where they're gonna park?
because when it was the vape shop, I mean, people would just come for 5 minutes and go, and it was sporadic. But I don't really, the zoning hearing board deals with that. They'll grill
Correct.
about parking.
Correct. How many spaces they have on the end there?
But
kind
see,
of
the
really
people that
going
live
on,
there
they
park in all but one, because the lady who ran the place had one parking space. She
Yeah.
parked there. I'm sure they'll get into all that. The zoning hearing board will.
I don't think we have enough information.
Yeah.
We're asking too many questions
Correct.
with no answers to.
We don't know what day of the week it's gonna
We
be.
don't know the
It's
frequency
Wednesday
of
and
the
Sunday.
services.
Yeah, but is it gonna change?
Yeah,
I mean, is that the only day? It's gonna be something different.
right.
Sounds like a good one for the zoning hearing board.
Yeah. So at this time, there will be no recommendation with regard to the zoning appeal, the zoning hearing for 50 North Place. Okay, next on the agenda is the property at 27 South Fifth Street. This is the former Lively store. They're doing
No,
No, this is the tattoo parlor.
That's
a
usually-
tattoo across.
yeah.
Oh,
There's 3 units.
Ed Wickenheiser's former print shop.
Wants to change it into a
And
furniture.
it was,
store. Doing it now.
It was also a beauty salon.
Beauty
prior
salon.
to that.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
It was beauty salon.
Yep.
Is there anyone here regarding 27 South Fifth Street? Nope.
I know of it now.
Okay, any comments regarding this?
I have some, go ahead, Nick.
He just wanted to turn it into a 4-unit apartment instead of 3-unit and a commercial. Because trying to find somebody for a commercial, it's easier to rent it out as another apartment. They do it inside.
So he would be converting the current
Commercial.
into an additional residential.
Correct. Correct.
Yes, Brad? This is across from you.
Yes, it is. I have had an issue, Tiff and I have had an issue with, let's go back a little bit. When you had the people who were living there, like the Foxes and the Livelies and Mrs. Meshy and all of the different people who lived there since World War II, it was heaven on earth. And once our street began to become rental row on both sides, it has become nothing short of a nightmare for us. Cars coming and going all night, as we just spoke to Gwen. There's no parking on our street. There's multiple driveways that are not driveways. However, the borough has signs that say no parking near driveways. So that's 2 spots that are taken up. And we create another unit, another housing, another apartment out of this. There's more cars, there's more people, and it's almost like Manhattan. I mean, our street used to be quiet, and now it's round the clock. Round the clock, people coming and going all hours of the night. I know people work different shifts, but most of these people don't work. I don't know how they're paying for their rent, it's not my business, but they're there most of the day. There's a lot of riffraff. The tattoo parlor, there's a lot of riffraff. And I personally, I would rather see us not fall back. I mean, I thought that we had an ordinance for the borough that said that we were not going to go backwards and create additional rental units at a single family homes. And Tiff had mentioned, well, I saw her earlier, that Columbia 2040 was encouraging mixed-use buildings and neighborhood commercial, but not creating more rental units. So I have a problem. The tattoo parlor was by appointment only, so it was every so often you would have a car or motorcycle show up or people would walk up. But it was rather quiet as far as that. But I think adding 2 or 3 or 4 more cars, we're already parking down by Holy Trinity. We have a handicap spot in front for various different reasons, but on street sweeper days, we never get to park on our street, ever. It's walking down to Cherry and then hiking all the way up to Holy Trinity, and you can't park in their lot. So you have to find parking somewhere along there. And it's, I don't know, I guess I can speak for Tiffany, both of us are not in favor of turning this into another rental unit.
I see the driveways you're talking about. So that's just somebody's grass, the backyard there.
There used to be a house there many years
Oh,
ago.
okay.
There's still foundation, but prior to 25 years ago, still some foundation. Now they drive the car up and park it on the lawn. And this house here uses it.
Okay.
Even though there was a house here and people parked in the street, it created that. So now that's lost parking. 6 out of 7 days there's never anyone there. And then on the opposite side by Lively's, that's used maybe once a month. It's just, and up by where Eric White, I don't know who owns it now, but where he, all of that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
That's,
does.
all those things.
Yeah.
And they're doing nothing with it.
Right.
But,
It's an investment.
yeah,
opportunity.
so
Yeah,
this is all lost parking.
so the
Yeah,
question
that's it.
is, do we, as planning commission, feel we want to make some sort of recommendation to the zoning hearing board with regard to this? So, I'm assuming that this property was a rental before the ordinance stipulated the number of alternate parking spaces. Correct.
The apartments above
Has
were
always
rental.
been there.
Always been.
Always been.
Now, my question is this. If you add an additional unit, does that change the use of that unit to now require 2 off-street parking spaces?
I would leave that to the zoning hearing board. where
That
there
would
is a
be,
term.
that would be a question that I would raise, because
Yeah.
if
And then that is,
if you change the use of that unit, so it should require, I mean, in my book, it should require the 2 off-street parking spaces. And they don't have any place to make the 2 off-street parking spaces, so that would be something they would be requesting relief from as well.
at this
Well, they
point,
don't have the sections on here, do they?
No.
No. And appeal from determination of the zoning officer is checked. So are they appealing something that the borough said no to, like,
Correct.
okay,
And I believe, if I recall correctly, I do not have the file here in front of me, it was due to the parking issue, because we're going off into spaces parking.
okay.
So I know there was a,
Had a jump on my retirement gauge. Yeah.
Yeah, I think expansion.
Exactly.
Yeah, and I agree with Heather that that would have to, they would have to have those 2 additional parking spaces. I do not see anywhere on that street because we don't have anywhere to park.
At this point, I would be inclined, this one also, to make no recommendation. And as to that, to your observations and what you see up there, I feel that is something that you as a resident should address at the zoning hearing board.
Correct.
You could be a
That you could be a
Party to hearing.
party to that. So unfortunately, I feel that you have more weight as a resident going to that zoning hearing board and expressing what you did this evening.
Right.
Okay. So, how do other members of the commission feel about this? Do we send it with no recommendation also?
I would agree with that.
I agree with that.
Okay, so we have no recommendation with regard to 2729 South Fifth Street.
So that means you won't give it a yay or a nay.
Correct.
We're not giving it
Say,
either.
we're not giving them a yay.
We're not making a recommendation. Okay, next on the agenda for the zoning hearing is 521 Locust Street. They're asking for a special exception from the zoning ordinance, short-term residential. Short-term rental units must be detached buildings. They are in a medium-density residential area, but the fact that our short-term rental specifies detached dwellings, that is why they are going to zoning. This is the twice burnt property up on Locust Street that they have rehabbed.
Yes.
It's very nice, except that they can't seem to put their trash cans out back because the alley's not big enough to get them back there, so the trash cans are out back. The question I was curious is, I think the attached building is already a long-term rental property at 519. And I'm questioning 523. I didn't have a chance to get with Paula today to ask this. I was not at home. 523, which is also one of the fire properties. They have, I don't know that that is occupied yet. And I don't know if that is intended as a single-family residence. Now, that is not attached to 521.
There's a breezeway. Or no, that's a full separation.
There is a walkway between
Yeah.
them.
Is that the 2 unit that we found was a 3 unit?
Yeah, yeah. And they have actually added on to that third floor. I cannot envision that that is going to be a single-family residence. They currently have 1 meter there, but there are bases for multiple meters.
Which one is this?
inside of that
523?
523. And I will tell you why I'm asking these questions. The way this application has been submitted, the person submitting it is saying that at some point in time, they will be residing there. Most of the time, though, they will be using short-term rental.
70% of the time is a
Yeah,
short-term rental.
70% of the time there's.
It's a different landowner for
That's not
519.
my understanding. I believe she-
That's the,
She sent a letter.
Yeah, there's a letter from June 23rd attached here.
Um, And she bought this property without, this is my understanding. Because we've been back and forth for a while. She bought this property with the intention of turning it into a short-term rental. She at some point handed in a short-term rental application, which is when we got it. And told her she didn't do her homework. And this is not gonna give my opinion. She didn't do her homework before she bought the property. Correct. To find out that she could do this or couldn't do this and what the code was for short-term rental. So, and which is what words to this.
It's permitted in the district, but it's not allowed because it's a
Correct.
duplex.
Yeah.
Got it.
My thoughts is if you start allowing this, the whole row is gonna be short-term rentals and it's gonna be a deterrent. I don't recommend that at all. I think she didn't do her due diligence ahead of time. Her agent should have instructed her. They would know the codes for Columbia. And I think then this is, she's gonna end up doing it when living, or else she's gonna do it on the slide, which you tend to be finding people doing it on the slide and then you're gonna.
My biggest thing is we talked about it in the work session, which was, there's not a clear consensus with us, or more importantly, there's not a clear consensus of the council who passes the laws on how to change the short term. Do we expand it? Do we, whatever. So it's really hard for us in that capacity to recommend for it. The zoning hearing board will have to, do their jobs with it, but it's hard for us to suggest it when we don't even know as a body, a recommending body to council, what the right approach is to the Airbnb thing.
And I think one of the things we kept falling back on is an Airbnb having to conform to that detached building.
That's the most
A
restrictive.
detached building, that is the most restrictive, and that's what we kept falling back on. But then we don't want to go back up to the 600 block where the Airbnb across from the cemetery, which is the end of a row of homes. It's attached on one side. Set one.
They have off-street parking.
I think there is in the back.
Yes.
Because you can see across
Oh,
from
yeah.
Crafts, you can see across from Walnut Street to the back of that property.
Is the whole thing.
We've got the alley, we've got our village. They don't have the garage in back, the garage is in the back of our area.
Correct.
So. Do we want to make a recommendation, or do we feel we need to make a recommendation opposed to this? I'm asking.
I can recommend that.
So you would make a motion to zoning hearing board in opposition to granting this special exception. You want to make that as a motion? A motion in opposition to the special exception for 521 Maple Street, we have a second.
I'll second it.
A second. So I have a motion from Alan. And a second from Brad. To oppose the special exception for 521 Maple Street. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
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 Those opposed? Motion carries. So there will be, in our draft minutes, the opposition to that special exception request.
Yeah, my point is, I think council's trying to wrestle with how they want to move forward with this and, to recommend for an exception to it when, if where we're going to go is to basically make it allowed in that situation. That's what our elected officials are debating. It's kind of hard to recommend it, given the timing.
So, question, why are all three of these saying that you're requesting a special exception and not a variance? What are the special exception criteria that you would be, well, they're asking for a variance? The first one's asking for a variance as well as a special exception.
Variance is the use, right?
So, like the special exception for the secondary from, changing the use of the commercial. Is there a defined special exception?
I think there's an error here.
Are they all
They
variances?
should be varied.
I think what happened here, and again, I wasn't involved in this creating it.
Yeah.
Looks like it was accurate that there's a special exception for the use.
Yes.
By special exception.
Sure.
And then there was a variance on that attachment. It looks as though the
Oh.
first sentence was copied down, and all three of them were listed as special exceptions. B and C should be variances.
So they are
Oh.
variances.
They're variances.
Okay.
But
That's what I'm confused.
yeah, but also the applicant this last one filled it out as requesting a special exception, but you're saying in fact, this probably, the ordinance says it's not allowed.
Anything
Correct.
A good variance, yeah.
That's
I
why
don't know
when
about
we-
the other one.
That's why when the legal ads are put in, we put both in, just to cover. Because sometimes they'll come in and during, they don't know what they're asking for, and then Joselle has to add on to the application, so that way it covers it.
Okay.
Where is this on the agenda? Wright's Ferry. I don't see it on.
I thought we had this one. And I said, Eric said he was going to that. I was like, I don't see it.
10.
Yeah, it's under number
Wait.
10, consolidation and main development plan for 38 South Second Street.
Okay, gotcha. Old business.
Normally under engineers reviews of South.
So.
Yeah, got it. So is this
Not know
for
you were
action?
going to be here. So, at this point, we will move that from old business, since they were here previously and presented. That's why we're in the old business, because we were not aware
Yeah.
it should be coming tonight to do.
Is it up?
No, I didn't know till I walked in tonight.
Yeah, it's in there.
Got your letter, it's
But-
in there.
I didn't, it was just under old business and, is it, well, I guess we'll find out. Is it, like close to being ready to be approved? So it is an action item. Yeah, okay.
So. So is everyone okay with moving that one to engineer review? And then development plan for 38 South Second.
Yeah.
All right, you want to,
County comment.
yes,
That's the big thing. Get this plan submitted back in June.
right.
But
Did you not see the county?
but now that
Oh, it's 7/7, so it's pretty recent.
Yeah, this was only in there last week.
Right, so again, what you always run into is the thing gets submitted for thorough review. Typically, we bring it to the planning commission that first month.
Do you have another copy of this? Oh,
I think at this time, I'll like, Ben, to just give a brief update to you all on where we're at in the project and doing, we have
And that's, when we got together to do the agenda last week, that's why we put it on the ordinances. Because at that point, we did not have comments, but they have submitted something like. Well, I haven't seen the news either.
Yeah, we should do this.
July.
The 8th.
Yeah, a while ago.
Good evening. I'm Ben Morton, landscape architect with RGS Associates, doing the site planning for this project. And as Derek mentioned, we spoke with you about it back in March. And since that time, have been working hand in hand with the architect to refine the design, going on numerous site visits to really make sure that we're dialing things in. And just in terms of the process since that March meeting with you, I know that the architect came before the HARB in April, and then Borough Council approved the certificate of appropriateness in late April. And then kind of in parallel with developing the land development plans, we submitted to the Columbia Water Company, as there is going to be a water main extension to serve the former freight railroad building. That process with them, they conditionally approved the plan. We just need to provide them with a main extension agreement as well as financial security. We also have our sewer connection permit. We're going to be connecting through lateral into Bank Avenue, but there was no capacity or permit from that on the books with LASA, so we do have that permit now. And we've submitted our planning module exemption to the ADP related to that sewage service. And then as Derek mentioned, we submitted the land development plan in early June. Been reviewing the comments over the last couple of weeks, starting to make revisions, and we sought a couple clarifications just to help us document our responses to the comments, but we're not seeing any challenges with addressing those to the borough engineer's satisfaction.
Did you see the comments from Lancaster?
Yes, we did. Yep, and there's.
I was making a copy. Jerry does not have a copy of it. For him to see what the county had to say.
I'd offer you my copy.
But then
If you can get a head start.
Okay, that one's good. Thank you.
Great.
Okay, good. You should see it.
I should.
Okay. Okay, continue.
So I think really at this point, I guess I'd ask if there are any particular questions that you've had since the last time we were here, or aspects of the design that you'd like me to go over, or any comments in particular that you're questioning.
I'm just excited to see
Yeah.
this move forward.
Same.
I think, when it was presented, the fact that what you want to do with the freight station, to be able to have, if I understood at the time, we were looking at virtual tours of the mansion being available there, something to that extent, that you would be taking the, I'll say, pressure off of the mansion itself for visitors, and that you would be able to make that available year-round, whereas now the mansion's only open April to October. So I'm excited because that is something down there. I've been through it, loved it, and to have more people be able to see what that is, I think is exciting. And I think the landscaping, which we're looking at doing with that parcel down there, I walked back that alley pretty frequently. And I'll tell you what, I was surprised when that gate was put in the back of the mansion property. And we were able to, I was able to see in there, I could not believe how it was done. You know, like what you're planning to do there. I really like what I'm seeing. I really have no questions regarding the plan at this time.
Any
comments?
key things here?
I think that, I mean, we have a long list of modifications.
Right.
Yep.
Here. Ben, you saw my comment on the first one, beautification stuff. The only one I wasn't recommending.
That one, we've worked through an alternative arrangement of how we're going to be able to, we were trying to avoid a structure at one pipe connection in order to, really from an aesthetic standpoint of the central plaza space, but yeah, yeah. But we figured out a way of where we're going to be able to shift that out of the centrality of that space and get something tucked in next to one of the trench drains.
So number 7, you don't need any more.
Modification one.
It's the
7
I
on
think
your letter.
it's, yeah, the last one on the
One of
cover,
those.
because it's under the stormwater management ordinance. But
Oh, sure, that chapter comes first.
That's so all we need is basically you have the remaining, and I should here. So we'll have 7 modifications on here, recommending approval of. First one is basically withdrawn.
So it'll be a junction, not a bed. Cool. Okay.
Yeah, generally, everything is pretty straightforward. Very few technical comments. So, okay, so here she addressed, I don't think concerns with, planning.
Can we do unless there's any disagreement, can we do the remaining 6 modifications as a lump? Is there any?
There's 7.
Now, what he's saying is the remaining 6. What,
One on
Justin is
the
saying.
back, right,
I
there's one
think
on the
he-
back page, so there's 7. There was 8.
Oh,
There's
yes,
7.
got it.
What I'm thinking
Okay.
is Justin is saying.
Yeah.
That originally came to us as a rejection, that first one. To
Right.
Do that one by itself and then lump the rest of them into a single mesh.
Is the applicant withdrawing the request for
yes,
a waiver of section 184-17G7?
yes.
Okay. All right, so that one's off the table.
That one's off the table. Okay. All right, Justin, if you want to go for it, go for it.
Okay, so I'll make a motion to grant the modifications as referenced in the borough engineer's review letter listed from number 2 to number 8, and as stated in the RGS letter of June 6th.
Okay, I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Okay, I have a motion from Justin. Second from Beth. To approve modifications, numbers 2 through 8 on the CS Davidson. Submittal of July 8th, 2025 regarding 38 South Second Street. Any further comments? All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Ready to see things happening down there.
You already have
Motion carried.
the motion.
And upon the borough engineer's July 8th letter.
Go for it.
Okay, I'll make a motion to grant conditional approval of the plan subject to the comments, satisfying the comments in Borough Engineers July 8th, 2025 review letter.
Do I have a second?
A second.
Okay, motion from Justin. Second from Deb. To give conditional approval to the plans for 38 Second Street as outlined in the C.S. Davidson letter of July 8th, 2025. All in favor, signify by saying
Aye.
aye. Those opposed, motion carries.
Thank you very much.
Good luck. Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Okay, do you have anything else for us tonight, Dan? Okay. So let's start a demo for the property salvage. We're done. Alrighty. Public comment and questions, nothing. Under action items, we, we've got the, review from Lancaster County Planning on the changes to the zoning, mainly focusing on the changes to light business, the different definitions. This is that whole package we've been working on that has been incorporated as ordinance 957. And I was wondering if you could all see it for a final time as planning commission, and I would like to recommend council move forward, which they have already advertised a hearing on this adoption for, I think I saw it was 26, to be honest. But I would like to give a little more weight to it by recommending to council the, I would say, adoption instead of advertising ordinance 957.
Yeah, I saw the county had one comment, but it's regarding, some,
But there was a better, they wanted a better definition for data center.
maybe with the next update,
Yeah,
because we worked on this, we had a joint meeting, I think we're all on the same page with how to approach CLB, so, because it's already advertised and everything, I think, yeah, we already decided this was gonna be a permitted use.
right.
Yeah, so that's kind of the fault, that's the big part of their comment, so appreciate it, but at the same time, we worked that out.
And they, I think they said something about maximum
Yeah,
size for a data center.
Right.
because of the electricity and everything, but yeah, I don't know what to feel about that, because, they have to work with PPL to work that out, so, yeah, we don't really know how that works, but I speak for myself, I don't know how that works.
The other one of their comments I liked was that they like to see that we allow child daycares and it's
Yes.
free use.
Yeah, I think that was a good conversation that we had with the council too.
It was. So, do we want to, at this time, make a motion to recommend our council adoption of ordinance 957?
So moved.
Okay, do I have a second?
A second.
Okay, I have a motion from Deb, second from Brad, to recommend our council adoption of ordinance 957. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carries.
That your vehicle.
I thought that was my intent. Okay. All right. We have no discussion items this evening unless someone wants to bring something up. We're looking at blight certification for 118 North 8th and for 47 units. There is information regarding that. Do I have a motion to make that recommendation of rights to determine properties at 118 North 8th and 447 Union Street qualify for blight certification?
So moved.
Have a motion from Justin, do I have a second?
Second.
Second from Bud. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
We dealt with the next item under the engineer. New business, I have nothing at this time. I kind of have some new business. I received an email today from Nate Bridge, and he feels he is too heavily committed, and that he will be, I advised him that if he wants to resign, that he needs to submit another application. So we will be looking at a vacancy. Next meeting will be August 19th, 2025. At this time, I would entertain a motion to adjourn. Do I have such a motion?
So moved. Second.
I have a motion from Brad, second from Justin. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
We are adjourned at 7:47.
Mary, did you ever ask
Thank you.
Barb if she had any interest in coming?
I
Come
haven't
with that.
spoken to Barb yet, but I will first.